Welcome back to School's Not Out for Cape Caribbean Studies. And as we promised, we are going to be looking at a past paper question. Typical kind of question for this kind of topic. For a named Caribbean country, discuss what are the main challenges to its development. So if you will recall, we just looked at a long list of some of the challenges to Caribbean development. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I'm going to go with Jamaica, and I am going to choose Jamaica and look at some of the obvious things. Now, it may be useful to look at another country. So while you contemplate that, let us begin to brainstorm how it is that we would answer such a question before we actually begin to answer the question. Now, it's important to brainstorm because what you do is you begin to think about the answer before you begin to write. This helps in your organization of the paper. You want to brainstorm, you want to jot down any ideas that come to mind, and this works for if you're sitting in the exam or if you have an essay to write before. You want to sit down and you want to think about what are the things that I could possibly put into this question. Well, first of all, you'd want to determine what country you're going to be using. And it's very important to explicitly state which Caribbean country you are using to answer the question. You also want to just jot down those ideas. You do not necessarily want to write them down in any particular format, just as they come to you. You also want to write down any key terms and concepts, such as the ones we have been looking at: development, sustainable development, and those kinds of concepts that relate to the question. So after you have done your brainstorming now, you want to begin your writing process. How do you do your writing process? Okay, so you will write an introduction after you have written, you have done your brainstorming, and then you want to go into the body of it. And you can use this particular structure to write any paper, not just Caribbean Studies. So you want to use the peel process. And the peel process says point, explanation, example, and link. Simple. So you simply make the point. You explain what you mean, give some more details. You want to give some examples, and we are not short of examples because we're doing Caribbean Studies. And then, of course, you have a linking sentence to ensure that you are actually answering the question. This process you repeat for every sentence, for every paragraph, after the introductory paragraph and before the conclusion. So this is a kind of process that you can use to write any essay, as a matter of fact. All right? So you may have been thinking about Jamaica. I wasn't going down that road. I was actually thinking of using Haiti. Why not Haiti? Because we are then able to pick some of the other kinds of challenges and factors that hinder development that we perhaps were not able to go through in detail. And as you know, Haiti is a very peculiar situation. You can't run out of things to say. Please take note that this kind of question is a 30-mark question. So you are looking at nothing less than 5 to 6 pages to answer a question like this. And you're not short of material if you choose a country like Haiti. So what would be some of the challenges that you would be looking at if you're choosing a country like Haiti? Okay, so you want to look at natural and man-made disasters or human-made disasters. And this is a real issue for Haiti. We're not short on examples. Haiti is prone to these natural and human-made disasters. Haiti is prone to earthquakes because of where it sits in the Caribbean, right along the fault line, or the fault line. One of the fault lines travel right along the northern part of Haiti. It also is more times than not directly in the path of any hurricane that is passing through the Caribbean area. So you want to look at those kinds of disasters. There are also human-made disasters, such as the level of deforestation that Haiti has had since its independence in 1804. Because the country was unable to trade with other partners of the world, they were forced to use and overuse their resources. So, what obtains in Haiti is that there is a high level of deforestation. Only about 2% of the forest area of Haiti remains. So now it's in a process of, you know, reforestation, replanting trees, and educating its citizens about destroying the environment in that kind of way. And then you want to look at government policies and political ideologies and corruption and those kinds of things. Over time, Haiti has had a series of political persons who have plundered the country since its independence. And this has also led to Haiti being the particular situation that it is in now. Global economic conditions, some of the same ones that we have looked at. Haiti is no stranger to this. And you would appreciate that it would also affect Haiti perhaps in a stronger way than some of the other Caribbean countries whose economies are not as bad as Haiti. And then you will have unequal distribution of resources. It is true that there is a 1% of the population of Haiti who have access, and yet the majority of the population do not have access to basic resources. Some of the same SDGs that we mentioned earlier: clean water, zero hunger, no poverty. These are realities that do not exist in Haiti. They are still at the moment recovering from an earthquake, recovering from outbreaks of diseases like cholera, and now we have COVID-19. And the possibility is that it could affect Haiti, given their current situation, even more than it does other Caribbean countries who are able to use the resources that they have to buffer this kind of situation. So Haiti is an ideal country to use as an example for a question like this. All right, so you would follow the peel process, and you would use the peel process to interject some of the details that were just mentioned. So how do you write an introduction? Let's go back to that just a little bit. Your introduction is really an appetizer to the main course. So you want to ensure that right off the bat, you wow the examiner. It must include things like background information. So you may want to talk about Haiti's history, a little bit about Haiti's history, and them having achieved independence through a revolution that lasted from 1791 to 1804. And you may also want to explain the economic implications of that. They were forced to be on their own while repaying huge sums of money to France. And this caused them to be in a particular situation like no other country in the Caribbean. And I know it is very, very easy for you to say Haiti is, not a good country, and we make all kinds of disparaging remarks about them. But the fact is that there are some conditions, some situations that have mitigated against them being more developed than they are. All right? So then you want to go further down to define your key terms and concepts. You want to say, what do you mean by development? What is development? What is that? And you may want to mention economic development, human development, sustainable development. And Haiti has a particular situation and problem as it relates to sustainable development, because they have not been able to use the resources of their country in a way that future generations are able to benefit. And then you want to go on to your thesis statement. What is your thesis statement? A question like this asks you to really take a position. You need to say, in a country like Haiti, there are several challenges to its development. And then you want to say what those challenges are, because these challenges help you also to write the rest of the paper, the peel process that we were talking about earlier. All right? You want to communicate your information in a way that is readable and that is logical. So your command of the English language for a subject like Caribbean studies is extremely important. Ensure that you are using proper grammar and expression. Pay attention to your punctuation. Pay attention to how you construct your sentences and how you begin your paragraphs. No lengthy run-on sentences. Correct spelling. Language must be argumentative where possible and where necessary. And most of the questions for Caribbean studies lend themselves to a kind of argumentative kind of discussion rather than expository. So you want to ensure that your information is communicated in a proper way. No bullet points. You are expected to write full sentences that make sense. You want to ensure that your paper also reads at the CAPE level. So you don't want to have too many ideas in one sentence and they're jumbled and high flown and convoluted. You are mixing your metaphors and those kinds of things. You want to ensure that your arguments are flowing logically from one point to another. And then, of course, you want to conclude. You want to ensure that you have just a review of the main points that you have made, and then you want to finish off with a repetition of your thesis statement. So that is essentially what you need to do in terms of writing a paper like this for Cape Caribbean Studies. So you may want to rethink which country you would use next time to answer a question like this. All right, so we are going to go for another break now. And remember, you can send your questions and receive feedback right now to us on Twitter at Television Jam, on Facebook at Television Jamaica, and Television Jamaica's YouTube channel using the hashtag TVJ Schools Not Out. We go for our final break and then we'll be back accepting your questions.